Thank you all so much. Ron, thank you so much wherever you are. Thank you for everything you've given to this county and to all of us. I'm going to try to make it through the speech without crying. I don't know if I will, but I'll do my best. This has been an amazing journey that we've been on for the last 10 and a half years, hasn't it? Just an amazing journey. And it's been such a privilege to be here in partnership with all of you, parting a new sky to walk under and working together for our dreams. I have many, many things to give and not enough time, so I'm going to ask that you just know that words can't possibly convey the breadth and depth of my gratitude to each of you in this room and for what you've given to this organization to make it what it is today and what you've given to me over the years. So to all of you in this room, a remarkable collection of labor, community, business, faith, elected leaders who are here, who have supported and pushed forward the vision of One America, thank you. All of you who spoke so eloquently about what this organization has meant to you and what my leadership has meant to you, thank you. To my incredibly talented staff and board, without whom none of this work would have happened, thank you. I would not leave if I didn't feel absolutely confident that you all would carry this beautiful organization forward in new and profound ways. To the several past staff and board of One America, including two of my past board chairs who are here tonight, as well as several of the original advisory board members and some of our earliest donors who are in the room with us tonight, thank you for believing when we actually just had a vision and not much of an organization. To our One America members who have traveled from across the state and who are the heart and soul of this organization, thank you for the thousands of hours that you put in for justice, moving issues in your cities and demanding change. All right, people, listen very carefully. A los Latinos, miembros de One America, y fuerte lucha. Gracias por su liderazgo, su valor, sus historias y la inspiración que me dan cada vez que los escucho hablar claro y alto. Gracias a ustedes vamos a lograr que haya justicia y una reforma migratoria integral. Sí se puede. It's also very special for me to have with us tonight the directors of leading immigrant rights organizations from across the country. These are my colleagues and partners in crime with whom we plan some of the biggest rallies for immigration reform, including the 250,000 person rally at the Capitol in DC in 2010, the National Change Takes Courage campaign that pushed President Obama to make some administrative changes in immigration policy, and the Citizenship Now campaign to help get citizenship for millions of immigrants. Josh Hoyt from Illinois, Ava Malona from Massachusetts, Chun-Hwa Hong from New York, and Christine Newman-Ortiz from Wisconsin, thank you. To my parents in India, and to my brother-in-law and sister, my sister who is here with us tonight, and actually was the first of the two of us to come to the U.S. by herself, and has always been an inspiration for Thank you. And last, but certainly not least, to my husband, Steve Williamson, and my son, Jenna Preston, thank you. Thank you for standing by me every step of the way, in spite of the sacrifices it's meant at home. Thank you for always believing in me and what we were creating here at One America, and for always supporting me to dream and be as big as I could. I love you both. Every day we wake up with a choice of what kind of human being we want to be, a choice of what kind of world we want to create, and what kind of action we'll take to create it. A choice of whether we'll be cowed by the voices around us, even when they ring shrill or false, or whether we'll stand up for what we believe, especially when it's hard or unpopular. In making those choices, we form movements. In making those choices, we form community. And in making those choices, we change the world. I watched the videos from September 11, 2001 again last week, and what a devastating day that was in so many ways. It reminded me again of the environment that One America grew up out of, literally from the ashes. Some people made choices on that day and the days after to perform outrageous acts of courage, rushing into burning buildings to rescue people, reaching out across communities to express sorrow and grief and solace. Others made choices to express ignorance and prejudice, shooting at Sikhs simply because of their turbans, or attacking Muslims simply because of their religion. Even more dangerous, the US government made a choice to define the debate in terms of us versus them, passing some of the most divisive and unconstitutional legislation and policies since the Japanese internment, and setting the stage for at least a decade and more of anti-immigrant, anti-Muslim, anti-civil rights policies and sentiment. But right here in Seattle and Washington State, you made choices to stand together across issues and sectors and protect our civil rights and civil liberties, protect our vision of a country where everyone belongs, protect our sense of community for all, regardless of skin color or race or religion. We made choices here to push back at our own government, to call it to its highest ideals, to honor our Constitution, to protect and defend the rights that made us so strong as a country. And this in an environment where these kinds of actions were seen as almost unthinkable and outrageous, even unpatriotic. Certainly, the Japanese Americans understood that environment clearly. Gordon Hirabayashi ignored the curfew back in 1942 and was imprisoned for it. Now, only now, 70 years later, he was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom for his bravery. Those that were around for Red Baby remember the relentless hunting that went on to this day, making words like socialist or collective taboo. Ending slavery, permitted and condoned by the government, was called outrageous at the time, as was the fight to win the women's right to vote. The essence of all of our work at One America has been and is contained in this dual pair of ideas. First, that every human being deserves respect, and second, that each of us has the right and the responsibility to contribute everything we have in order to create the most vibrant democracy. For these goals, building power in immigrant communities, building solidarity across those who must carry the message together, and changing the narrative and the frame, both unconscious and underlined as well as conscious and articulated, have been absolutely crucial to our work. The truth is that America has choices to make. Serious choices that will define the state of this country for centuries to come. And we in this room have serious choices to make about how we engage in that debate. Just this week, the Census Bureau reported that we have reached a tipping point. For the first time in the history of this country, Births of Hispanics, Blacks, Asians, and those of mixed race have become the majority. And in 4 states and many metro areas, minorities are the majority. So what does that mean? How does the greatest experiment in multicultural democracy play out? Right-wing conservatives have decided that this is a perfect weapon to destroy all dreams of progressive change in this country. And they've been bashing us over the head with their us versus them fear-mongering rhetoric on the airwaves while strategically and openly pushing politics to the right. So much so that we have a Black president whose polling tells him it's better if he doesn't talk about race. So much so that 164 laws have been implemented across states in this country. Anti-immigrant laws have been implemented across states in this country. And so much so that even when we talk about economic inequality in this country, we are comfortable talking about class, but not race. Even as poverty wages continue to increase and people of color are most likely to be poor. So the other side has made their choice. They're betting that they've got a winning argument in framing the race debate the way they want to frame it. Divisively, us versus them, an imagery of teeming masses of brown and Black people who commit crimes, prey on our taxes, and pray to a false god. Policies that ensure a 1% and a 99%, where JP Morgan Chase can lose $3 billion of real people's money and just say sorry, while an immigrant worker at SeaTac Airport struggles to feed his family of 4 on $9.50 an hour. That argument only wins as long as we let it win. As long as we are nervous to talk about race and immigration and the ties to economic justice as an integral part of our progressive vision for America, we let that divisive narrative win. As long as we don't full-throatedly and full-heartedly embrace and even court diversity in our movement, we give the impression that we too are a little nervous about this race conversation. And that is the only opening the other side needs. And of course, there's just the pure demographics of the situation. We are getting older and browner. That's just true. We have an opportunity to redefine the future of this country, an opportunity to draw a picture of an economic, racial, and social justice system that gets us back to the core of who we are as a country born of hope and possibility for those who were most oppressed, a country that believed in a form of government that would be of the people, by the people, and for the people. For the people. That means a government that has the money to take care of our roads and infrastructure, an education system that works, an environment that supports us, a government supported by the people with our taxes and contributions that recognizes that we are all better off if we're all better off. The opportunity to fight for 12 million undocumented immigrants and millions more who are stuck in an immigration system that doesn't work. To fight for an end to racial profiling, recognizing that we can no longer define race as Black or white, but rather that brown, Black, and white must come together to assert and embrace with solid arms and strong hearts our multicultural national identity. To demand human, civil, and immigrant rights everywhere in this country, including right here on the northern border. To fight for our young dreamers to be able to live their lives, and to insist that right here in King County we build public trust by keeping immigration and enforcement out of our jails. Together as a collective to say that to reach our dreams, we have to stretch. We have to speak out for Trayvon Martin, for Alex Martinez, who was unarmed and yet shot 13 times by Border Patrol right here in Linden, Washington, for the right for people to love who they want to love and marry who they want to marry right here in We have an opportunity to fight for Alsham and Miriam, who want to get ahead by learning English and getting citizenship, for our member Celeste Dye and her son, who haven't lived with their father or husband for years simply because he is undocumented. We have an opportunity to use our fear to transform ourselves. For we realize that it is often in feeling fear deep inside that courage is born. When it is hardest to say, I believe, we stand up together, supported by the hands of the collective, to say, I believe. I believe that we can operate from a place of generosity and abundance rather than scarcity and fear. I believe in standing up even when it's risky, because that is what change will take. I believe that being human is a courageous act. In fact, the only act that salvages our soul and builds the future. I believe that saying yes is more powerful than saying no, and that love is more powerful than hate, and that anger isn't enough. Anger can be a spark, but it alone cannot burn with the kind of righteousness that takes us on the road to justice. Love does that, brothers and sisters. Struggle does that. I'm leaving One America to follow this passion I have, to find new ways for this country to take what I've learned from my work on the ground with these amazing people, to work on new ways to integrate race and immigration with our broader progressive agenda here in Washington and nationally. I'll be undertaking a fellowship of sorts with some key partners, including the Center for Community Change and some progressive funders, to bring in some new ideas, clarity, and thinking to the issues that I'm so passionate about. And I will be right here with all of you and right alongside One America in the movement and part of the struggle for justice and democracy, just in a different role. Because you see, I am in love with the future that we haven't written yet, and that I know will require struggle and sacrifice, but will bring tremendous joy, as all great love does. So tonight, as I say farewell to you, as the Executive Director of One America, and so many of you have asked me, what will I be doing next? I ask you, what will we be doing next? What choices will we make together to advance democracy and justice, to change the conversation in America, to create a new identity and vision that leaves nobody out and is fueled by hope, joy, and love? The Aboriginal activist and organizer Lilla Watson said this: if you have come here to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together. This is our challenge, to remember that my liberation is yours, your freedom is mine, and my destiny is yours. Let's say yes together. Yes, yes, yes.